Are you ready to take your hunting game to the next level? Introducing Black Widow Deer Lures, the secret weapon trusted by hunters across the nation. Their premium natural scents are carefully crafted to attract deer like never before. Whether you're after that elusive trophy buck or just looking to fill your tag, Black Widow has the perfect lure for every season. 100% pure and fresh, their lures are collected fresh and bottled immediately to ensure maximum potency. Wide range of scents from doe estrus to buck urine, they have the perfect scent to match your hunting strategy. Proven results, trusted by professional hunters, their lures constantly and consistently deliver results. Don't leave your success to chance. Choose Black Widow and experience the difference. Visit their website or your local retailer today to stock up before your next hunt. The website is blackwidowdeerlures.com. The ultimate edge in your hunt. Unlock your hunting experience today. Welcome to Joshua 2415 Outdoors, proudly in partnership with Christian Bow Hunters of America. All right. Hey, welcome back, y'all. Here we are at another episode.
Yes, sir.
And I'm excited, as always, to get rolling on this one.
Yeah, we started out early. We've already been over to one of the farms that I hunt, and Mark helped me put a ground blind out, and we're refreshing the scrape up, and we've got lots of bucks coming to that scrape.
The preseason is still ongoing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's getting wound up, and I think we've got a good message and a good podcast for you today.
I agree. I think a lot of the topic is going to be, we want to talk about hunter safety, being safe while we're out there this year. However you want to put that, of being safe out there, and especially if you're up in a tree, make sure you have your harness. You want to get your harness. The last thing you want to do is fall on a tree and not be able to make it, or have to crawl your way back.
That's fact, and I've had to do that one time.
Well, we did an episode on that too.
Yeah, we did. And you think about going out into the woods, and you think about, it's just a peaceful place to be, but it can be a dangerous place to be if you do not take some precautions and do the things that you need to do to bring yourself home safe. So I know we've talked about Life 360 before, but that is the very first thing that I want to cover, is make sure. And, you don't, I know a lot of people are secretive about where they hunt, but find somebody that you trust and get Life 360 with them, whether it's your spouse, a girlfriend, a buddy, whatever. Get Life 360, add them, so that if something happens to you, they know where you're at. Having that opportunity to have that is one of the most important things I think there is. More than that, the safety belt.
Yeah.
Don't get up in a tree without a safety belt. Now, I know now they use the safety lines and everything. I don't have safety lines. That's kind of expensive. But once I'm in that tree, the very first thing that I do before anything else is I attach my harness line to that tree so that I don't have to worry about if I fall out of that tree or not, I'm going to be caught. So you've got to take those steps to make sure that if something happens to you out there, there's hunters every year that get killed. There's hunters every year that are paralyzed from falling. That's a long way to the ground. Even a ladder stand that the seat's 15 foot, you take a 200-pound man, or lighter than that, whatever, and hit the ground from that, something's going to snap.
Oh, you going to be hurting?
Yeah.
You going to be hurting.
But these are the steps that you take to be safe in the woods. That's what we're going to go on. And then the message is going to be on steps. All right?
Yeah. Also, you really want to be aware of your surroundings as well. What's going on around you while you're out there in the woods. Because depending on where you're at in the country, you could become the prey.
You could.
There's with mountain lions and all kinds of other predators out there.
There was a time.
You never know.
There was a time that we had mountain lions here for almost a full year.
Let's be real. I believe we still do.
Oh, I'm sure they are. But I mean, we were seeing them from this yard.
Mm-hmm.
We saw multiple mountain lions from this yard, and here in the gravel road. Now, people can believe it or not believe it. I really don't care one way or another. We saw them. The whole family saw them, and we had to take precautions then because, you know, our kids were little at that time and playing in the yard. So we would really, an adult had to be out here with the kids. And I remember one time, my oldest son, he was real small, but he was playing at the other end of the yard where the targets are. And I was sitting up here, and I looked down there, and I could see a cat's head through the thicket right beside him. Now, it ended up being a bobcat, but that bobcat was watching him and stalking him.
Yeah, it didn't matter if it's a bobcat or a tiger, mountain lion.
I saw videos of bobcat taking grown deer down.
Yep.
And,
yes. That's crazy.
That's a dangerous animal. Now, yeah, it wants to avoid you most of the time, but if you've got a small kid, that's prey.
Yep.
And so, but with the cougars, you know, I have found deer hanging in trees up in 12, 15 foot off the ground. The carcasses.
Bobcat ain't going to do that.
Bobcat ain't going to do that.
Mm-mm.
That was either a cougar pulled that up there or my friend Bigfoot put it up there. One or the other. But,
yeah.
You know, you don't know what's out there. And it could be a poisonous snake. It could be making a misstep and falling like I did in that ditch and broke my knee. It could be anything. And if you got Life 360, if you can't get yourself out, even if you're unconscious, then if you don't come home at dark, somebody knows where you're at. But when you get to that stand, I want you to think about making sure, hummingbirds right there by the bow. I want you to think about making sure that you come home to your family. You have a safe, enjoyable trip. And for it to be safe, you need to make sure that you have your harness on and you're in that tree secure where you can sit and you can take in the presence of God, take in the wilderness and enjoy it, but know that you're going to be okay.
That you're going to be safe, that you're looking out for yourself if you're not hunting with someone else. And Life 360 thing, I want to throw out there, we're no way affiliated or anything with Life 360. It's just generally, it's a great app service to have. So your spouse, your friend, whoever knows where you're at, especially if you hunt alone. It is a good tool to have for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and there's lots of other steps that you could take depending on where you hunt. If you're hunting in a place that has a large population of poisonous snakes, wear snake boots.
Yeah.
Or you can just get the shields that go over your shins. There's lots of things that you need to do. You know, carry you a small first aid kit. I carry a small first aid kit and got Band-Aids, gauze. I carry a tourniquet.
Your basics. Yeah.
I always carry a tourniquet because if you was to somehow cut something at the major artery while you're out there and you have a tourniquet, you got a chance to make it.
Yep.
I don't carry a lot of stuff, but the stuff I carry, I feel like it's important to have, just to make sure. I would rather be overcautious and safe than not have it.
Yeah, look at you talking about being out there and getting wounded. Tim Wells and his spear incident. If no one knows who Tim Wells is, he's a amazing archer and spear hunter and blowgun hunter. He had accidentally speared himself, and
yes, I think he had dropped a camera. He was in Africa, and he dropped, I believe it was a camera, and he got down to get that camera and his extra spear he left in the tree. And when he got to the ground, that spear fell out of that tree and somehow went through the top of his leg, nicking that big artery in your leg, and it went completely through his leg. Now that man was in Africa on the ground with bleeding for hours.
Yeah.
Hours waiting on the professional hunters to come back to get him.
You want to talk about someone who was covered, my goodness, without the hours and hours bleeding out, without A, passing out and dying, B, lions or hyenas or whatever other predators are out there, jackals,
yeah,
wild dogs, whatever, did not come
He
and
even
have
made a
them for
video.
lunch.
Yeah, he even made a video after it. I guess is probably to his family mostly. You know, he had the opportunity there to do it because he didn't know whether he was going to live or not.
Yeah.
He had cloth or something on it trying to tourniquet it up to try to stop the bleeding, but you could see when he moved his hand off of it, blood would just pump out of it. And it's by the grace of God that he made it home, and he's fine. But those simple things could happen to you so quick out there. And that's the thing. When something happens, it's not going to be something you expect. It's not going to be something that you thought was going to happen. It's just going to happen in the blink of an eye, and you got to be prepared for the consequences of it and what you're going to do if that happens. So having a tourniquet in your backpack, having Band-Aids, I even carry the little things to get splinters out.
Or a quick clot.
Yeah, quick clot. Yes,
good.
I used to have a thing of that. I may still have it in my pack. So many things that you could do just to make sure that you come out of the woods safe.
Yeah, I know that's going to be a lot of our focus this year, especially with if you're able to get out there with all your surgeries. That's going to be your number one priority, keeping yourself safe.
Yes. I probably will very rarely go to the woods alone, unless I just feel completely 100% about it.
Yeah.
We put the ground blind in this morning. That is just 10 yards from my ladder stand, and we covered it in good so that if I cannot get up a ladder stand, I can get into the ground blind.
Fortunately, that's a place too that you can drive to, no problem.
Yes, I can take
and do that alone without having to worry about trekking.
Yeah, I can take a four-wheeler literally and drive in and park it right behind the blind and throw a burlap cover over it and then get straight into the blind. And my first trip back to that blind, I will take the chairs and everything for the season and leave them in there, and it'll just be ready to go.
Hey, while we're on the subject of preseason, let me throw a little plug in there just for a second, because this man has been out there making mock scrapes with Black Widow branch butter. Yeah, and the deer have been tearing it up.
Yeah, and I got bucks I never even knew existed on it.
And they are. We're going to have the pictures of those in the video we're putting out today as well. We're doing a video on preseason and making the mock scrapes and setting up the blind, which also has a really good message in there. So if you want to check that out, check out the YouTube or Rumble. It'll be there. And I will have the pictures posted of those deer that have been coming to that trail camera. And you can see for yourself what this branch butter and what mock scrapes can do, really.
It is, and the branch butter is a key point, I really think, because, last time we talked about, I was concerned because I wasn't seeing activity at that point, and I had used the branch butter for the first time, and I was comparing that to the year before when I used the Code Blue preorbital gland, and so I said I didn't understand the difference when the year before I had bucks just hitting it, and so far this year I hadn't seen much. But when I started using that was during one of the hottest periods that we've had this year.
Yeah.
As soon as that hot period passed, them bucks started coming to that Black Widow branch butter like crazy, and I will use it from now on. Because there's bucks I didn't even know existed coming to that.
I think we've had a lot of luck too with the doe estrus.
Yes,
the estrus
Black Widow. Yeah. I really think the Black Widow is the best product that you can buy, and all of my products from this point forward will be that's Black Widow.
Not even saying that with a bias or an unconscious bias. It's just generally.
It's just the best.
It works.
It's the best.
It works.
I think it's the most realistic thing that you can get. I think it's
and always fresh.
It's a perfect time. And I think it's handled in a way that you get a natural product, and the deer just come to it. And see, in doing that now, you make these mock scrapes. And you put these mock scrapes where you want the deer to be. You don't just go and build a bunch of mock scrapes.
It's another step.
It's another step. And if you put that mock scrape where you want that deer to be for your shot, And you do that throughout the late summer into the fall, and those deer get conditioned to coming to that mock's grave. Well, when you slide in there with the wind correct, you've got the deer coming to where you wanted to shoot them anyway.
Absolutely.
So, it's another step in the rung to get to where you need to be.
It's a pretty big step too.
It is.
It's a step that's worth taking.
It is. I started yesterday. What made me think about steps is, and that's what our podcast is going to be. The message is going to be about steps. Okay, so I had this hip surgery going on 4 weeks, and yesterday was the first day that I started going up and down stairs, lifting myself with both legs, the replaced hip and my good hip. And it was hard. It was hard to do, but to get to where I need to be, I'm going to have to do that. It's part of the therapy that I'm going to put myself through to get to where I want to be, to reach my ultimate goal. And now yesterday it was painful. When I woke up this morning, it was excruciating. It was using muscles that had not been used at all in a long time, because I had quit going up with both legs because my hip hurt so bad. So I've got muscles that are absolutely just on fire this morning. But you suffer through that and you push through that to keep climbing that ladder to get to the ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal is to where my body's back fixed, my body's healthy, and I can go do the things that I want to do, that God has led me to do, whether that be go to the woods, or whether that be go to do archery with children, or whether that means continue to go preach. And God has blessed me so much. I've preached multiple times since my hip surgery. I preached the week after I had hip surgery, and God allowed me to be able to stand there behind that pulpit and to deliver the message that He had for me, and He gave me the strength to stand there the whole time. And they're all steps up the rung. And when I was thinking about that, I got to the point of thinking about Jacob's ladder. All right. And let me find the verse. It's in Genesis chapter 28, and it starts with, I'm just going to read a little bit of it here. Then Jacob departed from Beersheba and went toward Haran. He came to a certain place and spent the night there, because the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of the place and put it under his head and lay down in that place. How'd you like to have to use a stone for a pillow?
Goodness.
He had a dream, and behold, a ladder was set on the earth, and with it tops reaching to heaven. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give it to you and to your descendants. Your descendants will also be like dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east, and to the north and to the south, and in you and in your descendants shall all the families of the earth be blessed. All right. I want you to think about, He's watching that ladder, and He's watching the angels going up and down, up and down, up and down. But what's at the top of that ladder? God's at the top of that ladder. So as we take steps in our life, we are going, I'm sorry, you're going to hear dogs barking in the background. As we're taking steps in our lives, we're going toward that ultimate goal of where God wants us and what He has for us. And we have to walk up those steps of that rung. Now, Jacob didn't climb the ladder, but the ladder is there for a symbolism to see, there's something at the top of that ladder. Now, some of the steps that we make may be hard. When I came up those steps yesterday, I've got these steps designed where they're real close together, but they still, for the first steps, they were hard for me. Yeah. And today, I'm suffering because of it. But it will get better, and it will get easier, and I will get stronger. And in the same thing with climbing the rungs of a ladder in a Christian life, you've got to just keep climbing those rungs. You've got to keep going. It may be hard, but the ultimate goal is at the top of that ladder.
Yeah, it's like you are climbing this spiritual ladder, and you are on your way step by step to meet the Creator.
That's right.
To meet God at the top of that ladder with every step. If it's a tall ladder, every step you take is going to get harder and harder because you're going to wear down. You're going to wear out. You're going to face obstacles. You're going to have to overcome your mind telling you to quit, telling you you're not going to make it, telling you whatever. The enemy is going to hit you while you're on your way up as well with everything that he can think of. But you just keep climbing that ladder. If you keep pushing forward and going ahead and making it to the top of that ladder, your reward is there. Your reward is being in the presence of God forever.
Another picture of that. I've got ladder stands out, and lock-on stands out with steps, going up the side of the trees. I won't be able to get in any of those stands this year, maybe the ladder stands, but if I have not been to those stands and cleaned them up already, the first trip to those stands, there may be briars growing through them, there may be poison ivy growing on them, there may be limbs growing through them, and stuff that you have to remove as you go up that ladder. But as you remove the stuff and clear your way to get up that ladder, your ultimate goal of that situation is to get to the top of that platform to be able to sit and relax and hunt that deer. But there may be things in the way to get there that you have to take care of on the way.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. It's worth it to do the work that you have to do to get to your ultimate goal.
Oh my, when you get up there and you reach the top of that ladder, the top of that mountain, the peak, wherever, boy, does it feel good to know that you accomplished all that and you made it to the ultimate goal.
This year, I told you this morning, I will not be able to use my Summit Goliath. And my Summit Goliath is my favorite piece of hunting equipment that I own.
That's the climbing stand.
That's the climbing stand. And I'm going to let you use it since I can't use it. That way you don't have to purchase one this year. But, when you go out to the woods with that, you're going to have a limb saw in your pack. And as you climb a tree, you're going to have to remove the obstacles as you go up that tree to get to the ultimate goal of where you want to be in that tree. And I have had to trim a tree from top to bottom before many times.
Just to get
up to 16, 20 foot. And you're going to have to do that. And it takes work. Some of the limbs are going to be big. It's going to have a lot of, it's a lot of work to do that if you're not on a clean tree. But to get to where you want to be, you've got to remove those obstacles to get there, because the stand is not going to climb around them. It's not going to go over them. It's not going to go through them. You've got to take them out.
Oh, yes. And I know last year I didn't get to do this. This year I'm going to use that Black Widow deer pee and put it on a rag and use the drag rag a lot more often.
Yeah, daggone right.
I didn't do that enough last year.
Daggone right, because they will follow that. I have one of the most exciting hunts that I have ever been on, and I walked from right here at my yard to the highway.
And you drug
I drug deer pee from right here all the way to the highway. That is a half a mile. I refreshened it about every 200 yards. And then when I got to the highway, because I wanted that scent to where any deer that crossed this road or any deer that come from woods to woods,
it's going to go right to where you want them to go.
There was the woods I couldn't hunt and the woods I could hunt. And that was what was going to keep them crossed. And there was people hunting on the other side of the ground. And I had this crazy idea. And I drug that from here to the highway and then walked up the side of the highway in the grass with it. And I had bucks, I could see them walk up the side of that highway.
Single file.
With cars going back and forth. And they weren't going onto the road. They had their nose down on that where that drag rag come. And they followed that drag rag right up onto that stand.
That is genius. Wow.
I loved it. It was so exciting to know that simple act of just dragging that rag and refreshing it had such a powerful draw for those bucks.
Yeah, when they get locked in, they don't raise that head for much. They keep that nose down and they follow that trail.
The only problem I had was a huge deer followed it before daylight.
And couldn't get on him.
I could not get on him. I could just see shadows of him. It was gun season. It wasn't shooting hours yet. I was sitting up there, and I was just hoping and praying that the light would get here before he left. And he hung around there. He was so close, you could smell, and the wind was perfect. You could smell those tarsal glands. It absolutely just reeked up in that tree of how strong the smell was. And I could see this huge body out there moving back and forth in between the trees and stuff. But I mean, it wasn't light enough to shoot him. It wasn't even legal shooting hours yet. I was just sitting there waiting on it. But he finally, I guess, caught my scent or something, because he finally blew and he left. And when he left, he went across the road, and my son shot him.
Wow.
Went across the road.
What a story.
And he killed him with a...
You did a great job on that deer drive.
Yeah. That was the first
unintentional deer drive.
That was the first deer he killed when he came back from Afghanistan. Killed it with a 50 caliber Hawken with round balls here. He wanted to kill one like Davy Crockett. And it was a huge buck.
One way to do it.
That's the biggest buck he's ever
This
killed.
is getting me excited for season. I cannot wait. I tell you, it's odd to say it like this, because normally you don't want to hear this sound. But me and the boys, when we went to the park the other day, we looked out. There's a field next to the park area, and out in that field were just these does, around, I'd say 9 to 12 here, all doe that I can tell, all out in this field. And I just stood there in awe of them for a second, just watching them eat. I got my camera out, trying to zoom in as close as I could. They're about 100 plus yards away.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they caught us, or they saw us, or caught wind of us, and I heard that doe blow. And I was like, man, I don't like to hear that very often, but out of season, it makes me want to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
People don't realize how vocal a whitetail is. And people see deer, and they see and they are a peaceful creature, but they see a peaceful creature walking along, and they have no clue, unless you've been out there, to hear the noises
that they make.
And it's not just the does blowing and the bucks blowing. You know, the does have their different kind of grunts for different things, and the buck have so many different. They've got their grunts, they've got their growls, they've got all these. Some of them noises are frightening before daylight.
No joke.
I shot a buck one time, shot him with a bow, and he was quartered away. He was 25 yards. He was a good deer, good 9-pointer. And when that arrow hit him, and I was shooting a much slower bow then, so you could just see everything happening, you know. But when that arrow hit him, the noise that come out of that deer, it was a roar. It was an absolute roar. I had never heard that before. And there's only a couple videos that I've seen bucks get shot that have made that roar when that happened.
Oh, that guy was a dominant buck.
Yeah. Oh, it was something.
He was alpha, and he wanted you to know it.
And to be out there in the woods and hear bucks with a 10-bin grunt chasing does, or multiple bucks running a doe, and they're all growling and grunting. It's just amazing.
I absolutely love it. Oh man, I can't stop smiling. I'm
ready to 50 degrees this morning.
Yeah. And I bet they're on the move too.
I bet they are.
Getting cooler. Well, until next week, it's heating back up again.
Yeah, we're going to take it while we can get it.
You got that right. I love the fall. I love hoodie weather. We're getting close.
Yeah.
Campfires and hoodie weather.
The steps that you take in life are going to get you to your goals. And that's the basis of the whole thing.
You know what? Isn't it funny too? Look, I got this here smartwatch, and it's counting my steps every day. We have stuff to count our steps. What if we took the time to think about, to make a conscious effort to think about every step we take and what path we're going down with those steps, just like we do counting our steps every day, seeing how many we're at, 9,420.
There you go.
But taking the conscious effort to think about every step you're taking and the impact that it has, whichever way, before we make that step, we'd be a whole lot better off, I would think.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard to do that though. It is hard.
Yeah.
It is a challenge. That's why it's worth it.
we go into I'm gonna squirrel hunt the next 3 mornings before I have shoulder surgery.
That little blinker.
I'm gonna get my 22 out, and that thing just dry as tacks. And I'm gonna go. I know where there's some trees that will be absolutely full of squirrels in the morning, and I'm gonna try to get me 3 or 4 limits of squirrels before I have to have surgery. But when I go into those places, I'm going to look exactly where I'm placing my feet. I'm going to stalk in there and think about every step to be able to make as small amount of noise as I can to get to those trees that are full of squirrels. Because those squirrels, they know danger when they hear it. And a person that's never in the woods is danger to a squirrel. So if I took every day and thought about the placement of each step like I would in that, wow. How much better could I serve God if every step I took was to Him
and was intentional
to be toward Him?
Yeah.
In whatever I'm doing, the steps be intentional to take toward God. And whether that's washing the car, whether that's mowing the yard, whether that's building something in the wood shop, the whole time thinking about God and working toward getting closer to Him.
All for the glory.
All for the glory. No matter what you're doing, it's all for Him.
Not your glory, not my glory, not everyone else's glory, but God's glory.
That's right. Wow. That's good stuff.
That is good stuff. Drink it in. Taste and see that He is good.
That's right.
Oh, man, I love doing podcasts. I'll tell you what. I was thinking about speaking of being jacked up and ready for the season, what gets me jacked up and ready for the morning? Blackout Coffee. Blackout Coffee. You can check them out at blackoutcoffee.com, which will be linked in the description.
Absolutely.
And use the promo code Joshua2415 outdoors for 20% off your first order.
And I want to, before you get off of here, I want to thank these people that have come along beside of us.
Absolutely.
And we are not going to represent anything that we don't believe in.
Absolutely.
We're going to be very strict on that. And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for Blackout Coffee. I'm thankful for Black Widow, Deer Lures, and all of these others. I can't.
Christian Bow Hunters of America.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many.
Striking Viking Beard Oil and Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Yes. I mean, it's amazing from where we started to where we're at, what God is doing. And it's not about us. It's about glorifying Him.
Absolutely. And, so check out those affiliates if you would. Show support to them and us if you would. Drop us, subscribe, follow, whatever. Catches on YouTube and Rumble. And with that said, looks like we're wrapping this one up.
Yes,
so y'all have a good one. And remember, stay safe out there, especially during when season gets in. Be mindful of other hunters. Be aware that you're not the only one out there.
Right.
And again, thank you for all your support, and we greatly appreciate you and listening. We hope you have a wonderful day and the rest of your week. And with that, God bless you.
God bless you.